Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 5. I'm Amanda Rowley. Mark and Whitney are off tonight. We begin with a developing story tonight. New information about a double murder that happened 1 week ago today. Just last night, police searched a home near the area where the bodies were found. They confirmed with us that search was in connection with the death investigation in Minnehaha, the neighborhood in Spokane. Police tell us they arrested 3 people, but on charges not related to that investigation. Police say they still haven't arrested anyone related to the reported shooting. Also tonight, the family of one of the victims in that shooting is speaking out tonight. KREM 2's Nathan Young joins us in the newsroom now with that part of the story. Nathan?
Well, friends and family describe Kiara Morgan Weiland as sweet and kind-hearted. Weiland was just 23 years old and a mother of a young boy. Weiland, whose father says also went by Kiara Morgan Hansen, had a bright future.
She wanted to be a cosmetologist. That's what she strived to be.
Police found Weiland's body and 37-year-old Colton Russell's body in the area of Cleveland Avenue and Cuba Street last Friday.
It's not something that you expect to hear about your youngest child.
Weiland's father, Jay Hansen, says that his daughter was full of life. He tells us she was also a single mother who loved her son.
She always wanted to be a good mama. She was always, a great babysitter for toddlers, and she just loved children.
Her friends described Weiland as someone who had an infectious laugh and personality. Many of her friends are still shocked.
There's a lot of grief, just a lot of confusion as to why this would happen.
Jeremiah Caro was a close friend of Weiland's.
She was a kind and loving person. She was willing to give you the skin off her back to do anything she could for you.
Hansen says all of his daughter's friends adored her.
She'd just go out of her way to do things for people. If they'd asked her to be there, she would immediately be there.
Hansen says that the family plans to have a celebration of life sometime in January. And the cause of Weiland and Russell's death still has not been confirmed. Police say the case is a priority and they'll continue working around the clock. In the newsroom, Nathan Han, KREM 2 News.
Turning to another developing story, the Spokan County medical examiner has released the identity of the woman who police found dead in northeast Spokane. The Spokan County Sheriff's Office says 65-year-old Carol Strite was found in a field on Wednesday afternoon. Deputies say they found a dog next to Strite's body. They say it was not on a leash and showed aggressive or protective behavior. Deputies say Strite's wounds appear to be caused by a dog. The medical examiner has not released the official cause and manner of her death. Now, in 2 weeks, the house where four University of Idaho students were killed will be demolished. But in our continuing coverage tonight, KREM 2's Shannon Mowdy explains some families of the victims are still questioning why it needs to happen so soon.
Friday, the house on King Road stood much as it has for the better part of a year. Boarded up, quiet, except for security posted outside, though that won't be for much longer.
So we truly believe that it's time. It's time for the house to come down.
The University of Idaho now owns the house on King Road and says it'll be demolished December 28th. The university says this is a step forward in healing for students and the community.
The area where the house is located is very dense with students, and we wanted to do it at a time when they wouldn't have to be there to be a part of that. And so that fell to the winter break, making the most sense.
But the family of Kaylee Gonzalez, one of the 4 students killed, is asking why demolition can't wait until after trial, though that date is still undetermined. In a statement, the family said in part, "This is one of the most horrific crimes in the history of Idaho, and the University of Idaho wants to destroy the most critical pieces of evidence in the case." The family says they have stressed to the university and prosecutors the emotional and evidentiary importance of the house. Quote, "No one seems to care enough. It's like screaming into a void."
The house is a daily reminder. We'll never forget. We can't forget, but we can heal. We can come together and we can begin to move into the next phase.
In October, the FBI took several photos and 3D scans of the house for prosecutors. The defense has also been seen collecting evidence inside, though not when KREM 2 was on scene Friday.
Generally speaking, it's a good idea to preserve the scene of a crime as much and as long as you possibly can in case issues arise during trial or issues arise even after trial on appeal.
Boise-based criminal defense attorney David Leroy says sometimes juries will want to walk through a space, especially one as large and complex as the house on King Road. But in this case, he says, both sides have time and technology to recreate the structure.
Because we'll have diagrams and perhaps three-dimensional recreations, lots of photographs, lots of video. I would not expect the jury to be lost in the spatial relations inside the home in understanding the crime scene.
The university says clearing the site will likely take several days. Shannon Mowdy, KREM 2 News.
Taking a look at weather now, cold and bright. That's what we're looking for in the upcoming weekend. Meteorologist Michelle Boss joins us now with your complete forecast. Hi, Michelle.
Hi. Well, we are looking at some pretty quiet weather for the upcoming weekend. We saw some filtered sunshine today. So as we take a look at satellite and radar, lots of clouds out there, but they were generally pretty thin and high. So we did have some sunshine filtering through. I don't think that's going to be the case for this weekend, as the spots that have cleared out are likely going to see some fog development, and there are going to be spots where it's going to be really hard for those folks to break out of the fog. But with the filtered sunshine today, we did see a lot of spots warm up into the lower 40s. We're cooling down now, 38 in Moses Lake and Othello, 37 in Omak, 36 in Spokane, and it has now dropped below freezing in Coeur d'Alene, right at freezing in Sandpoint. Short-term forecast, though, any of the areas that have cleared out will likely see some fog development later on this evening and overnight. So we are looking at overall gray and cloudy conditions, but temperature-wise, we'll be in the mid-30s, pretty close to average this time of year. And there are a couple spots, especially across North Idaho and maybe portions of southern Spokane County, that could break out of that fog and see a little bit of sunshine throughout the weekend.
Thanks, Michelle. Tonight, we now know the official cause of Matthew Perry's death. Autopsy results say the Friends star died from the acute effects of the anesthetic ketamine. It helps to reduce pain and is known to treat depression and anxiety. The autopsy also states he drowned, but that was a secondary factor and deemed an accident. The report says coronary artery disease and a drug, which is used to treat opioid use disorder, also contributed. Perry was 54 years old when he died in his Los Angeles home on October 28th. And another legal win today for Oregon State and Washington State. The Washington Supreme Court decided to give both schools full control of the remaining assets of the Pac-12. Those assets are potentially worth millions of dollars. The Supreme Court declined to review the appeal, leaving in place a lower court's ruling. That ruling said the 10 departing schools lost their right to be part of the conference's decision-making board when they announced they were joining new leagues. The 10 schools are concerned that Oregon State and Washington State could withhold the money from this year's media rights contract. That money would usually get shared with the entire conference.